Hello, welcome back to Me with Margaret Taribo. Me Conversations look at talking with people from all over the world on things that impact on our lives, our community, and our family. And remember the last time I told you we're talking about fathers and being heard and can you hear me? And today we have a young person, and I'm excited to have with us today Jay-Teale Davies, and he will be telling us a bit more about himself, where he's from, what he does, and what makes him tick. So you're welcome. So do you want to tell us about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jay-Teale Simpson Davies. I'm 15 years of age, turning 16, and I am a BMX racer. I've been doing it for 8 years of my life, and it's pretty much, I've grown up with it. It's become part of my life.
Wow.
I'm of, mixed heritage. I'm half Bayesian from Barbados and half UK. My dad's from the UK and my mum's from Barbados, and that's me.
And you said something about being from mixed heritage. How has that impacted you growing up? Has it bothered you at all? Have you had any experiences in school, in the world where?
I think I haven't really had many hardships, not really many experiences, but it's just like kind of comments you get from other classmates like, oh, are you this or are you that? Like kind of like mix of identity, like you're not one but you're not the other, but you're both.
And then what do you think? And so has that helped you look at your identity a bit more about saying, you know what, this is who I am, and how does that?
This has definitely made me kind of look at myself and think like, oh, this is me, kind of like I am this and this, like, and I've kind of embraced it and known like it's something I'm proud of and I'll always be proud of.
Wow, that is good to know. And you were saying something about BMX. Do you want to tell us what inspired you to go into that, and what role did your dad have to play in that journey?
I think at the time when I started BMX in 2016, my dad was looking for me, like he wanted me to play a sport. He wanted me to be occupied with something. He didn't mind what it was. So we were around everything, like going to scouts, rugby, football, basketball, and none of them actually really made me tick. I didn't really enjoy much of them. And then we saw the BMX track, like we had recently seen it open and everything. And he said, oh, let's go down, check it out. And then from that day back in 2016, that's when I just fell in love. I clicked with it. It was really good.
Have you had any challenges with it? With BMX, and were there times that you were tempted to not do it anymore, and what motivated you to go on?
Well, there definitely has been challenges with it, like all the injuries, all the losses, all the hardships with it, like race after race. Back when I was younger, when I wasn't so good, I would lose and lose and lose, but then there was times where I just had enough. I was fed up. I didn't really want to lose anymore. I wanted to get good. But I took that as motivation and to actually train, work hard, and come into the person I am now.
Okay. And so what role do you think your father played on this journey? Was he there? Did he listen? Because, I'm launching a book, Can You Hear Me? So it's about getting or capturing the voices of young people and looking at what are the issues they face in being heard by their parents, or particularly their fathers, to make sure that they gain or they have or they need to be who they need to be in the society. So do you think you've been heard by your dad?
Definitely, I do think, because from the day I started, from the day I was born, it was more, my dad was always like a really big support network. He was always there for me when I needed him. He always helped me when I was down. And like throughout my BMX journey as well, like he's always there filming clips for me, like giving me advice, even though he didn't really know much. He would always be there to help me and always be a very big support.
Okay, and have there been times, how it is between dads and their boys, that you felt, I don't want to do that, or has there been any of those times or challenge like, Dad, no, or
Well, there has been, some disagreement.
That's been real, isn't it? Yeah.
I guess, like, it's just how it is in life. Like, you're going to have disagreements and,
But there's still that level of respect and knowing that he's got your back.
Definitely.
But that's you. But have you seen other young people that might not necessarily have the advantages that you have? And what have you learned from that? Like not having a father figure, or even if they did have father figures, maybe they didn't have the same relationship.
Yeah, well, I do have friends, or I do have like acquaintances who don't have that element of support, who don't have, say, a father figure. And I do consider myself lucky to have that kind of, because I don't really know how to explain it. Like, it's something that it's really nice to have, and I do feel sorry for the people who.
So what do you think has happened to them? Have you seen any examples, and has it impacted on self-esteem? Do you find yourself encouraging them? What do you know? What's that journey?
I think, was it not having that kind of support network, it kind of leaves you short of opportunities. Like, having both parents in my life, it's really opened up a load of opportunities, which I'm really appreciative of, which, like, some of my friends who may not have that, who may not, have anything invested, they don't have as much and they can't do as much, so they're a bit restricted.
Yeah. And you have friends around you like that.
Yeah.
So how do you relate with each other? Are you still friends?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's more like meeting up, encouraging them, having fun with them, and yeah.
Yeah. And so, do you think there's a situation of, especially, well, you said it yourself that you're one of the lucky ones, but do you think there's a need in the United Kingdom to encourage young people, particularly getting that support from fathers, in terms of the opportunities, the schooling? Sometimes you don't want to do this course in uni, but you're being forced to do something that you don't want to do. What do you think needs to change in our school system, and then what role do you think fathers can play in that?
I think what's really important is to make sure voices are heard. Like, even though, say, people may be disregarded, like not listened to, I think like that voice could change. Like that voice could be a really big impact. So I think the main thing is just letting the voices be heard, taking in what they have to say and taking in what impact they're trying to bring.
I suppose some people might have an argument that said, oh, young people don't know how to talk, that's why they're not being heard. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that, because it's more as you get older, you gain more wisdom, which when you're younger, you're still learning about things, you're still experiencing things. So you may not have that skill to speak well, but that doesn't mean the point they're trying to like display is like not anything.
Somebody spoke before, we've had this conversation about when children are not being listened to, particularly at school, there's this element of misbehavior. Do you think that ties into not being heard, or do you think they just want to play trans? They don't want to behave well? Do you think it ties together?
I think no child is going to misbehave without like any reason. I think there will be factors of like the voice not being heard, like people misbehaving, trying to get attention to themselves, trying to make themselves heard.
I think that's quite. So if you were going to give any advice to any of the young people out there like yourself, especially in terms of being heard or being listened to, what advice would you give them?
I would say definitely, like, even though an adult or like a figure of like greater power wants to disregard your word, wants to not listen, I think still try, get your points out there, get your voice heard, because who knows, you could be the voice of the future. You could be the person to impact a big event out there. Okay. So it's just more never give up and make your voices heard.
And you've never given, and you're not giving up. So where are your dreams at right now? Where are you going right now? What's the plan?
I think since I've progressed in the sport BMX, like my aspirations, my goals is to become the pinnacle of the sport, like progress up to the highest level, race the best that I can do, ride the best that I can ride.
And do you think, could you share some of your successes with us that have been from 2016 to now?
2016 to now. I think most of the successes that I've had have been in the last couple of years as I've progressed the most, but in the 2023 season mainly, I was the Southern Region champion, so I came first out of the 15-year-old boys in the Southern Region of England. I was the top 8 best boys in England. I got myself into the National School of Racing, which is like the best 15-year-old boys in England go up and they train in a group together up in the National Cycling Centre. And I was a British finalist, so I made the top 8 of the 15-year-old boys and 15-16 cruiser boys in the British Championships, and
Wow.
there's some like.
And your parents had a big role to play in that.
Definitely.
So what do you want to tell fathers, really? Just one word more for fathers.
I think mainly for my father, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate all the support. I know I may be very annoying, may give you a hard time, but it's really much appreciative. And yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Jay-Teale. It's been great having you here. And so that is it for us. We're celebrating fathers this month. And I think it's about being heard, being listened to, and even encouraging us how we learn and how we listen. There are some dads are doing great out there, and then some dads are not doing so great. But I want to encourage you that it is possible. And Jay-Teale is an example of what can be possible. So thank you for watching me with Margaret. See you next time. Share, like, and subscribe.